life doesn't have to happen in a particular order, and it doesn't have to look a particular way. You can enjoy things in every single season.
We really love that our mother's prayers cover us and their insight definitely guides us, but at some point we have to mature and have our own insight and discernment ourselves. It's a lot. Hello beautiful people, welcome to another episode of TMS Hottakes.
Hot with TMS Hottakes. Welcome back.
Yes, we are. Today, many things are popping. This episode is recorded a bit in advance. So I thought instead of talking about some hot topics, we'll just answer some dilemmas, get through, some issues that, concerns. The people are going through, and just try and give as much advice as possible.
Oh,
so less so unserious and more so, helpful.
Yeah. The sisters are in agony. I like that.
Yeah. So I thought, why not jump straight into it with a little ding, ding, ding.
Dilemma.
Hello, my big sisters.
Hi.
I hope you are well. I love you so much, and how you guys have really impacted my life. I'm so happy I'm receiving such beautiful advice at such a young age that I can carry throughout my life. So I'm a 20-year-old girl and I don't have anything together, but I'm happy. Mm-hmm. After matric, I basically had one friend from high school left. We weren't close in high school at all, and I never even sat down with him during lunchtimes, etc. But we had been texting for a year, and we obviously got closer, and I definitely considered him as a friend. Unfortunately, he lost his mother, and him and his brother, who is age 17, had to move in with his grandmother, who also passed away a few months later. He had to get a job, and it was hard for him. He didn't get support from family, which is what I assume. He would ask for money from me to assist with things like his brother's school things, food, the house, and more. I was okay with it because I understood the circumstances, but now it's a problem. I feel terrible, but he continuously asks me for money that I don't even have. I now feel like I was providing for them and not me. I stopped responding to his text, and I would block him because he would call with random numbers. He would try contacting me on different platforms, and I kept running away. I want to tell him that I can't send money to him anymore, but sometimes I feel like I'm all he's got in his life, and I can't help him then. And if I can't help him, then who else will? I know he really needs the money, but I need my money too. I'm paying for a car, I'm young, and I want to buy stuff and all, but I feel so guilty. What should I do? Please help your baby sister from South Africa. Thank you.
Oh, sis, thank you for sending this one in. That's a sticky one still. First of all, can I just say, it is absolutely not your responsibility to be basically providing for that entire family. The situation is extremely unfortunate, and God bless you for actually being a good friend and stepping up with not just the financial support, but actually just being there as a friend. It sounds like he's been for a really challenging period of his life, and with the loss of somebody so near and dear, it can be very difficult to overcome. However, this doesn't mean that it is squarely on your shoulders to take up that responsibility. Absolutely not, especially considering that you're young, and also especially considering that you two have to take care of yourself and actually need to make sure that you're in a good place to be able to fund yourself, but also just do a whole bunch of other things in life in general. So I do think that as much as it was a kindness initially, now it's getting to a point where I ain't gonna lie to you, it's kind of taking the piss. So I do think it is worth sitting down and having a conversation, if you haven't already, because it doesn't sound like you've addressed it just yet, with him, to let him know, look, I cannot afford to continuously give you money. You may be able to help out here and there, and that's your prerogative to do if you feel comfortable. I can't tell you to stop doing it if you feel like you've been led to support him in that way. However, I just don't think it's conducive, especially given all of the priorities and the responsibilities that you now have, especially because it has now impacted you financially to the point where you may not be able to stay afloat. So you're kind of in a lose-lose situation anyways, and irrespective of you supporting financially, they are still going to have to find a way to make it work anyway. So I think it's also like being very transparent in this instant, especially because you guys have been friends. You should be able to tell a friend, look, I'm not able to support you in this way. And I think that might actually be an opportunity to offer support in a different way as well, right? So it's not that you're shutting the door, you're just saying that you can't support in this particular way because it's not helping either of you at the end of the day, but saying, hey, I can be there for you mentally, emotionally, I'm here to support you. even with, you know, managing the finances that he does have coming in, or thinking about other opportunities where they may be able to generate a bit more finance or income, finding those opportunities, you'd be down to support. But you directly giving that finances is just unsustainable for the both of you and will impact your relationship in the long run. So I do think it is about having a very transparent, candid, uncomfortable conversation, making your boundaries known, making it clear that you're no longer able to support in this particular way, but as a friend, you are happy to show up in all of the other ways. And you're also happy to help him with generating income or supporting in some way as he figures that out, or as the family figures it out. But it's absolutely not your responsibility to continue to carry that weight in any way, shape or form. And it's important that you do have that conversation. And I do think that, I know that it can be quite overwhelming, and you mentioned in your dilemma that you had blocked him previously and that he's continuing to call you on like different numbers. So I don't know if you've already articulated your boundaries, but that's some real boundary transgression there. So it really is holding steadfast and saying, look, I don't think that this is appropriate behavior considering the track record that I have with you and considering our relationship, and very much setting the terms of how you want this relationship to move forward is so key and so important. But yeah, this is definitely not, it's not something that you should be dealing with. And I get that you can feel a bit guilty, especially because it kind of sounds like he's become a little bit overly dependent on you and overly dependent on your income. And that's just not fair. It's not a good position to be in for you, but also it's actually just not fair. So I do think it is worth having that final conversation, reiterating your boundaries, and really focusing on yourself and the things that you need to take care of first before you feel like you can, you know, support in that way as well. Like this really does sound like an opportunity for you to almost, I don't want to say retreat, but I really do think you need to reorient a little bit, scale back a bit, especially because you're so young, and really think about, where are my resources best deployed? What are the things that I really want to work towards? And really think about how these, like this kind of giving is impacting you financially, but also impacting you in other areas like your income generation and your actual capacity to give. So you really do need to have that solid, hard conversation with love to say that you can't do this anymore, but you are happy to support in other areas, and really try and prioritize yourself in this season. Is what I would say.
I completely agree with you. I think you've hit the nail on the head with it. Like, it's not your responsibility to help. I think out of a kind and giving heart, especially considering all that they've been through, it's very understandable that you want to help in some way and provide assistance, but help can look very different. And I think it's good to be very honest and very vocal about the fact that you're not in the financial position to actually help them, and you've done all that you can. And, you know, if anything, you can help in other ways, but you can't keep supporting him financially and supporting his brother. But I do think there are other ways you can support, you know, especially from a friendship standpoint, emotionally, being there for him to communicate with. But I do think it warrants, this behavior and this dilemma warrants a conversation about boundaries and about the pressure that you seem to be feeling. And I think it's important to be in relationships where you can be honest in the most respectful and also considerate way, considering what he's going through. But just let him know, you know, you're happy to support with him, maybe getting a new job that maybe pays a bit more, or setting up something that pays him, you know, on the side of his main job, helping his brother maybe find resources to be able to pay for his schooling stuff, things that maybe cost you your time, and that's something you'll now sacrifice instead. But make sure that your sacrifice isn't too much for you to bear, because you are also young, you're trying to figure your life out, and before you know it, you could be burnt out or just emotionally drained by it all as well. And so definitely protect yourself and preserve yourself by maintaining your boundaries and articulating them to him, again, in a kind and considerate way, while still providing some kind of support which is within your capacity. If he's asking you for too much that's outside of your capacity, just be honest about it. You don't have the capacity for it, you don't have the finances for it, and hopefully he understands. This would be a really bad thing for your friendship to be conditioned on, and I think it would speak louder of him. And obviously he's gone through a whole bunch of stuff, and so it would be very understandable if it's very distressing for him and he's kind of looking to you to be that support and be that lifeline, especially if he doesn't have that many friends as well. But I do think if he's also your friend, then he'll have a degree of understanding that, listen, we're both young, right? And this thing happened to me, and I want to be able to provide for my family. If you can help, yes, but if you can't, I understand. Like, you're just my friend. You're not my sister or anyone else who has to kind of carry this burden with him. So yeah, I think have a honest conversation. Just be honest, but again, be considerate, because he's probably not coming from a bad place, but you definitely do need to articulate your boundaries. Yeah, sis, sorry. And I'm very sorry to your friend that he went through this, losing two matriarchs of your family, or, you know, people who are your caretakers, is hard. And so yeah, just provide him some emotional support as well if you can, and yeah, see what his reaction is to that conversation. Yeah, I thought that was quite sad. Very, very, very tight. We've been getting a lot of dilemmas about people losing their parents. And it's sad. I can't imagine being so young and losing a parent or your main caretaker. Like, shout out to every single person who's going through that. And yeah, please seek help where you can, for sure. Second dilemma. Hi sisters, thank you for all the work that you do. I love listening to you. Thank you so much. My dilemma may not seem like much of a dilemma, but it's been on my mind quite a lot lately. I'm turning 25 this year. My husband and I met when I was 20 and he was 25. And after 6 months of dating, we decided to get married, and I was 21 by then. Since then, we've moved across the country together for our jobs, bought a house, and are expecting our first child later this year.
Congrats.
Congratulations. That is beautiful. All of this has happened within the span of 4 years. My partner is the most incredible person I know. He is kind, driven, and God-fearing, and I feel incredibly blessed for the life that I have. As someone who came from a broken home, he has provided me with the life I dreamed of for myself, and I'm excited to grow our own family and watch him be a father. That is so wonderful. However, I am only 24 years old, and sometimes I cannot help but feel as though it all happened so quickly. My age mates are going out, brackets, I am very introverted and never went out even before marriage, close brackets, and figuring out their lives, and everyone around me seems to say I have life figured out because of my circumstances. Lately, I can't help but feel anxious because I feel I've basically crossed all of the big life milestones within a short period of time and at a very young age. And I don't know what's next for me. Is it wrong to feel bad for accomplishing big life milestones when I still have so much life to live?
That's a great dilemma. And yeah, just a reiteration on the congratulations on the little person coming through soon. That's exciting. But no, sis, it's actually perfectly normal to be feeling this way. I think you have definitely gone through some quite transformative experiences. Congratulations on the marriage, the kid, the house, like huge milestones, and you definitely should be celebrating that. But it doesn't mean that you might not feel anxious or might not feel like, are things supposed to be going this way? Will I have time? I think comparison is often, it's something that we've spoken about quite a bit on this podcast, but comparison can be the thief of joy. And it always feels like somebody else's grass is greener than yours, no matter what side you're on. You'll be looking over the fence saying, oh, that grass is green, not knowing that it's plastic. So I do think that there is something here around comparison. I think you have a lot of like wonderful things in your lives, but it can be very easy to feel, especially if your kind of immediate community, you are one of a few or one of the only people that are going through these experiences. It can feel quite isolating, even if you do have a community. I think it's important, and I love that you are quite honest in feeling that anxiety and actually naming it, because it's easy to kind of go along with it and feel hunky-dory and kind of feel like, oh, you know, I have no reason to be feeling this way because everything is seemingly perfect, but you are very much well within your rights to be feeling anxious.
Absolutely.
These are big life things, right? Like, you've bought a house, you have a husband, you are having a kid. It's a lot. It's really a lot to process. So it's normal to sit with that anxiety. It's normal to feel kind of uncomfortable as well. But I would definitely encourage you to really choose to sit in that joy as well. It's really scary, but also really, really exciting. So really leaning into the fact that you do have a community of people around you. Yes, they have different experiences, but I do think it would be very worth just again, leaning into that community and having honest conversations with a lot of the people that are different to you. I think you'll find that whilst folks will look to you and say, oh, you have life kind of figured out and, you know, we're still going out and all that kind of stuff, there are also some cons or like some pieces of their experiences or chunks of their experiences that you may miss. You may miss out on just by virtue of not having the opportunity to sit with them. So I would definitely encourage you to really have those conversations with your community and the people that are close to you that are different to you, to get a fuller picture of what their lives are like and the differences as well, because it's so easy to compare ourselves to the highlights reels of other people's lives. And I also want to encourage you that just because you have all of these things in your lives, especially responsibilities, that doesn't mean that you're not going to be able to enjoy your life or enjoy things afterwards, right? There's a lot of people that, you know, have kids and have families, but are still able to go out and enjoy the things that they really care about, whether it is going out and grabbing a drink. Yes, it may be a bit more difficult, or it may not even difficult, but it may look a bit different. It's really embracing that this is a part of your story and you're well within your right to enjoy every single chapter as it comes. So don't think that this is kind of like an end. This is really the beginning. I think seeing them as kind of big life goals, it means that you have a whole stretch of life ahead of you to dream again, to have goals, to factor in your family into that. You can definitely go out. Well, you listen, find a nice babysitter and go outside if that's something that you desire.
Absolutely.
But also equally, like when your kid or your kids grow old, like there's the opportunity for you to enjoy, go out, travel, do the things that you might feel like you're missing out on right now. Like life doesn't have to happen in a particular order, and it doesn't have to look a particular way. You can enjoy things in every single season, and it doesn't have to be in specific seasons that you enjoy specific things like that. So I think embrace that. Like, yeah, you got a lot of these big life goals and milestones out of the way early. That means, okay, later you may be able to enjoy all of the good stuff that you feel like you missed out on. There's no rule, there's no like blueprint that's better than any other. And I think also enjoy the fact that you have a great, like the things that you do have that are great, right? Like you mentioned that you have a wonderful partner, like the opportunity to continue to create experiences with that person, life-changing. And it's often a thing that, especially in today's like society and culture and whatnot, we can often bash relationships, or there's so much prevailing narratives around like broken relationships and not finding the right one. I think just really finding joy in the fact that you have your person and you can create experiences with that person too. Family experiences, but also the experiences that you have shared being married. And then the beautiful experience that is motherhood. Of course, it's going to be challenging and it comes with its ebbs and flows, but there is something that is just particularly beautiful about bringing a child into this world. So really reveling in that journey in of itself is what I would say. But yes, it's like very well within your right to feel that way, but you have a undoubtedly beautiful life ahead of you, and you can pursue all of these different things in different seasons. There's no right way to go about life, and use this as an opportunity to dream about what does life look like after. Enjoy the now and revel in the now, but what does life also look like after? Are there different seasons that you can enjoy some of the things you think you're missing out on? That's what I would say. But CDB, go for it.
I completely agree. I think it's not bad that you are feeling a little bit of anxiety or just having these thoughts that are like, okay, things are going well. This is all really nice, but have I missed out on some stuff? What does this mean for the future, right? I think every season, whether good or bad, comes with its discomforts, but it's whether you allow that anxiety to consume you. And it sounds like you are very grateful for the things you have, a partner, you know, you've bought a home, you've got your first child on the way. These are all such amazing things to be grateful for. And I love what you said about, well, then what do future seasons look like? What can they look like? And also being happy about the fact that life isn't over. Whilst a lot of people do frame these big things as the end goal, you have had them so early in life that it may feel like, okay, so then is this the end of my life? Did I just get here, you know, super early? What about the middle part? Seasons are not the same. They don't come around in the same order for everybody. And it's beautiful that you have found this kind of stability now at a young age. However, it doesn't rob you of the future, and it doesn't rob you of adventure and exploration. Whilst everyone may be out there, you know, having a really good time, you even described that this isn't even what you were like when you were single, you know? And so maybe where you're thinking, oh, maybe I should have done more of that, but that's not even your personality type.
Yeah.
So instead of kind of looking at other people and thinking, oh, should I be going out more? Should I be doing this? Maybe what you're craving is a little bit more self-discovery and knowing what you like and getting to try out different things. And maybe your fear is, I've got these really big responsibilities and really big commitments at this early stage of life. Will I actually be able to do all of that exploration? Because even like you described, having children or becoming a mother changes things a bit. Being a wife changes things a bit. Owning a home changes things a bit. And a lot of the prevailing narratives within society are that these things are a hindrance to your freedom. However, you can decide that they won't be. You can decide that actually I've got a really supportive partner. I can maybe surround myself with, you know, you guys have, it sounds like, stable jobs. You can have childcare if you wanted to. You can maybe travel a little bit. Maybe these things will give you the freedom to be able to explore who you want to be, because you're still young. You're only 24. You're going to be a mother at 24, 25. That is brilliant. You still have so much life ahead of you to explore who you are. This is not the end of your life. This is not the end of the adventure that is discovering who you are. It's just a huge part of who you are now is also wifehood and motherhood. And that's something that a lot of people desire. And so you just got it in a different order to what most people get. And that's completely fine. It just means your story is going to be different, but you have the ability to write it. You can decide, you know what, after I have this child, you know, permitting all things go well, and we definitely wish you a safe delivery and just a very easy transition into motherhood. Permitting all things go well, this is what my life is going to look like. Maybe I'll experiment with my career. Maybe I'll do more adventuring that looks like this, and let your partner in on those plans as well. That, you know, you met me, I was a young babe, I was still figuring myself out. Then you cuffed me. So now I need to figure out who I am still as an individual, even within this marriage. And I want you to also have the freedom to do the same. So maybe, you know, bounce ideas off of each other, like, oh, I like this, maybe I'll explore doing this a bit more. Can you help, like, you know, maybe take care of the child on this day at this time so that I can go out and do this class or go and do this hobby. So I think this is really a great time for exploration. And I love what you said as well. Spend time with your friends. I know they may be doing things that you may not be doing, but allow them to actually include you in stuff which celebrates this season, and soak up that celebration. But also, as you become a mother, don't think, oh my God, my life is so drastically different from my friends that it's now altered our friendships, and they're going out, they're being their young 24-year-old selves, and I'm here a mother. You know, you can still enjoy your friendships, and that can also give you insight into what their life is really like, you know. And I'm not saying you'll hear, oh, woe is me, we wish we all had your life. You'll actually probably hear more things that's like, oh, that's super cool, I wish I could do that, but I've got to go home to breastfeed, or whatever you have to be responsible for. But it's nice to at least see a more holistic picture and also get to enjoy time with your friends that will hopefully remind you that, like, your life isn't over. It's just different. It's just different from the rest of us. And trust me, you will be in a season where your friends' lives will look very different to yours as well. Your kids, your friends are probably going to have their kids when your kid is a lot older. Right. So when they are, you know, got to go home to breastfeed, you're doing up, oh, I'm free for the rest of the afternoon. My kids at, you know, school or whatever. And so seasons come and seasons go. Right. And so embrace this season that you're in. Soak it up. Really, really soak it up. Don't let these anxieties rob you of your joy. And then realize that you have the right to still have freedom. It will just look different from what other people's life at your age looks like, and that's okay. You can have your own kind of freedom, which is also as beautiful. So yeah, congratulations. Really, really, really soak up such huge blessings. Honestly, we are so happy for you. Well and it's done. So good to hear that you have such a great partner, because honestly, we get too many dilemmas about trifling men who are doing XYZ. So to all the sisters who are listening, trust me, the men are out there. You can have your own, you can do your own. So this has actually been really inspiring and encouraging, and we hope that your own story even encourages you, you know.
With the pitter-patter of little feet. That's exciting.
We love it. A TMS baby. A TMS baby.
Hello, Courtney and Renee.
Hello, sweets.
May the Lord shower you guys with his blessings.
Amen.
I can't believe I'm actually sending my dilemma for the first time in history. Sorry for the rant. Here is the dilemma. I just turned 18 this past January. I have a close friend who is a guy who is from one African country. Take note, he is not the type of guy I would date, and we are just friends. Fast forward to March 1st, I received a voice audio from my mom, who lives in Ghana.
Hey.
I moved to, shout out to the Ghanaians, Ghana babes. I moved to the USA to join my dad and his family a few years back. In the voice audio, my mum mentioned that the guy friend in my life, 7 years down the line, we are going to get married. And after marriage, he is going to turn into a whole new different beast. The abuse and hurt will lead me to kill myself. When she heard this from the pastor, she cancelled it with the blood of Jesus. I don't know what to do now. Yeah, I do pray, but I told my mom I want to end the friendship because it is getting too much. I can't even look at him without thinking about what my mom said. We graduate in a few months from high school, and now my prayer is that we don't choose to go to the same college. My mind has been in shackles. What do I do, big sisters? Break the friendship or what? Thank you for reading this email. Love y'all so much. May the peace of the Lord be upon you, lovely ladies. Hallelujah and amen.
Amen. Woo! Woo! It's a lot. Woo! Well,
Lord
anyway, shout out to your mum for being on watch.
Hello.
Eyes wide open. Spirit is looking.
Hello.
I can definitely hear how this can be scary. This is scary. Your mum sending your voice over your audio that this man that's your little friend right now, 7 years. It's always something about the sevens as well. 7 years, he'll be your husband, and then all of a sudden your whole life's gonna turn upside down in the worst way. Girl, I understand. And right now the benefit is there is no emotional entanglement there. And I think the prayer that you're even making that, you know, post high school, you won't get into the same college is a really good prayer. And I understand, because I think it would be easy to be like, oh no, it's just like your mom being whatever. But I think if maybe God is trying to warn you or something, I'm assuming that you also, you know, like you said, you pray and stuff. So you also hold the same faith. But I think if we could sit here and be like, no, your mum's seen this thing, but it's okay, you know, whatever, cancel it and proceed. And, you know, it doesn't have to be all that. It's all hocus pocus, whatever. But you know what? Sometimes our mums have discernment that we just don't have. Sometimes God gives a warning to anybody to just let us know, proceed with caution. And I think the only advice that I would give here is not only that you should pray and get insight for yourself, but also that you don't allow a deep intimacy to grow between you and this guy. And you're probably thinking, oh no, but like, what if he's the one? I mean, it feels like the dream will be coming to pass, surely. So I think since you don't like this guy, at this point, it's good to just be like, okay, I won't let this go forward. This person can remain my friend, maybe my friend at a distance, but clearly there is something about letting our emotions grow and our intimacy grow. Now, I would definitely say this hugely is anchored on you getting a revelation for yourself, because it's very easy for other people to come to us with warnings, but because we don't have a personal conviction about this thing, we either act very strangely or we don't act at all. And I think it's important for you to just have a personal understanding past the fear, past the initial, oh, my mum said this and I'm a bit spooked out. Definitely take time to like pray and process and think, okay, cool, like, God, what are you really saying here, right? Like, if this is the person for me, then clearly something has to break and loose. Right. But also, if this isn't, then guard my heart. Like, help me to guard my heart so that I don't enter something that is not for me. And so, yeah, I would definitely say, like, get on your knees and start praying. Praying for insight, praying for your own discernment as well. Like, we really love that our mother's prayers cover us and their insight definitely guides us. But at some point, we have to mature and have our own insight and discernment ourselves. So I would definitely say this is an avenue and an opportunity for you to grow spiritually, to gain insight into, okay, what should I do? How should I treat him? How should we proceed with our friendship? I think on the flip side, seeing it from his perspective, it may be weird that if you completely like back off, cut this friend off. Okay, girl.
Yeah,
like,
it's a bit strange.
yeah. So I wouldn't even say this is a cut him off, don't ever talk to him again. Like, cut all ties, close the door. This is more of a like, we're friends and our friendship can also stay right here.
Right.
You know, this level of talking from time to time is great. And I know friendships naturally sometimes they evolve in intimacy, but I think you just need to be a lot more mindful of the fact that at the moment you're trying to discern some things.
Yeah.
At the moment you're trying to decide what your next steps are. And the thing that would fog this up and make this a lot harder would be you guys getting closer and closer in friendship to the point where a crush maybe evolves or